Welcome to the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show. I'm Jane Johnston, Realtor here in Victoria, and this is a show where we cut through the noise and talk about what's actually happening in our local market.
I'm Andrew Plank, also a Victoria Realtor. We'll talk stats, timing, neighborhoods, and what we're seeing behind the scenes.
And I'm Jen Lowe, mortgage broker. I'm the numbers person of the group, and I'll chime in with the mortgage side.
Each week, we break down what the market means for you.
All focused right here on Greater Victoria.
No hype, no pressure, just honest conversations, local insight, and practical advice.
Let's get into it.
Good morning, Victoria. It is August 26th. Welcome to the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show. I'm Jane Johnston. I'm with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun, and I'm here with...
Hey everybody, Andrew Plank here with Royal LePage and the Vibe Collective. Hello.
From Tofino and...
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Jen Lowe, mortgage broker with Dominion Lending Center's Modern Mortgage Group. Nice to see you guys.
You too.
Nice to see you. And how's it going this week, everybody? What are you doing?
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I'm just camping for the next few days. So I've got myself on a beach near on the west coast near Tofino.
Looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And Jen, what are you up to? Wow.
Oh, wow. That view never gets old.
No, it does not. It does not.
I just returned from Calgary, where my son was in the national championship for junior A lacrosse, and they finished second, which was unreal. Just a phenomenal accomplishment.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Congrats
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
And
It's all your support.
Right. You got it. Yeah.
she's a manager. Does help. It does. I mean, you're integral to the team. I'm not being facetious.
They were fed very well, and boys aged from 18 to 21, and they were just phenomenal. Yeah, I'm gonna miss them.
Aw.
Sure, that
Yeah.
was an amazing trip and event for them. Travel is always good for kids. And I
Yeah.
say kids, but they're actually young adults, and it's just because I'm old that I call them kids. They're actually adults.
Yes, yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
So I was at a regatta in Salt Spring over the weekend, and I have to say, I'm not usually into a lot of, I'm competitive, but I find competitive sport very intense. So anyway, we did an 88-kilometer race, and I did the first 20, it's supposed to be 25. I think we did 23. We had an awesome bow, me and this other lady. And there are my hands as a result. So sore. Oh. Anyway, but you know what? I noticed that the atmosphere on the dock today was really good, and everybody's bonding over the fact that they were competing together. So there's something to be said about that for young people.
Yeah. Yeah. Bringing everybody together, forming the tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
All right. So today we're going to do Jen's mortgage update, and our topic of the week is going to be comparable market analysis and how long are they good for? And this came up yesterday because I did a market analysis a few years ago for somebody.
Yeah.
And they thought that was my number I'd still use today, but the market, as we know, changes all the time. And so, how long are they good for? And how do you find a great realtor who matches you? So first of all, let's just go into Jen's financing update. What's going on here?
There's a lot going on. So
Tariffs.
right now, we're seeing fixed mortgage rates increase, which is a direct cause of what's happening in the bond market, and a direct effect of what's happening with these tariff discussions that are going on between us and the US. Right now, so as of 10:08 this morning, Eastern time, the bond yield was down 8.6 basis points today. However, prior to that, it had increased significantly, which then pushed our fixed rates up from 4.39 to 4.54 in just literally a couple of days.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really honestly all about timing. From watching the market regularly every day, fixed rates go up quicker than they come down, always. So we'll see if there's an effect given that the bond yield was down this morning. Will they drop those rates again? We'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, right now it's definitely opening up the discussion again for those that are willing to take a bit more risk and go with a variable rate. The spread has increased that much more. And I've actually seen a few decreases on the variable rates with one particular lender. We've got 3.74, another lender's 3.6, depending on if it's an insured mortgage or uninsured or which bucket per se, the mortgage type we're doing. So there's great variable rates out there, fixed rates, not so much. They increased, and there's lots of activity in the bond market. So we'll just see how that continues to play out.
Okay, thank
So
you, Jen.
for someone right now, if you're, let's say you were thinking of going fixed, unless you have your 90-day hold, or is it 120-day hold?
120. Yeah.
120-day hold, you might want to consider variable for the meantime, and then go into fixed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do we want to do the topic or get into our weekly stats?
Let's do the topic.
Okay.
Primed and ready.
First of all, comparable market analysis. How far back do you go when you're looking? What stats do you look at, Andrew?
So let's just define what we're talking about. A comparable market analysis. Somebody wants to sell their home, and realtors will look at what other homes have sold in the neighborhood. Kind of like if you're going to buy a car, you kind of want to know what other cars selling for that are similar to yours. And you're going to take into account the mileage and the condition and the age and all of that stuff. So now the market changes over time. So I go back, I mean, we were kind of trained, go around 3 months, I think was kind of the original, plus or minus 3 months. But realistically, it's more how stable has the market been for the last while. So if you've had not a lot of change in the market for the last year, you could go back a year. If the market's been dramatically going up or down, you might have to just look within the last month. I kind of weight my market analysis based on the market and where it's going. So I might go further back, but give more weight to something that's more recent.
So I do it differently depending on if it's condos or houses. So for condos, I'm looking specifically first at the building to just see what the building is carrying. It also depends on the situation of the building, whether or not they're going through a depreciation report update, or maybe some special assessments are coming in, and just sort of seeing what the financial situation of the building is. But definitely, and then looking at square footage and cost per square foot. So for that, you can be pretty concrete about the data. For housing, it depends on the neighborhood and what's available in the neighborhood, because, for instance, last spring, early in the spring, there was nothing for sale in Royal Bay. And when we did our market analysis, we were the lowest price house. And then over time, as we were listed, we actually became sort of middle of the pack as more houses came on at lower prices.
Market. Yeah.
So you're always editing it, Jen.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that, or comment from sellers that, well, my neighbor sold 2 years ago for this price?
I find if you give them the data up front, that they start to realize what is reality. And often they're looking at list price, but they're not necessarily knowing what the sale price is. So helping sellers just recreate what we're going through. What do you find, Andrew?
Well, I mean, two things to that. First of all, I've had this happen often, Jane. I'm sure you have as well. They say, "Yeah, my neighbor sold and they got 200,000 above asking," or "My neighbor sold and they got this." And then when you actually show them what it actually sold for, they go, "Oh," because
Oh,
the neighbor or somebody was talking to somebody, and it's just the neighborhood scuttlebutt, and it's not the actual reality. So there's that. And then also, you know, my neighbor sold 2 years ago for this. Okay, well, you should have sold 2 years ago. It's not 2 years ago, it's
Market's
now.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
also, like sometimes your neighbor will say to you, because they, especially in a condo, they want you to list higher because it affects their value as well. So they may tell you that you're listed too low. And that the reason for that is because they think if you sell low, it's going to affect their sale value eventually. But
Yeah.
you,
So
you have to
this is
really
to do
look.
with after a CMA. We've done a CMA, we've listed the home, and then all of a sudden we're getting feedback that, oh, and your seller comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm concerned we listed too low because all of my neighbors are telling me that I've listed way too low." Or my father-in-law is telling me I listed too low. And yet the property's sitting on market.
Yes. So,
Right.
and then they start looking at you and wondering what you're doing wrong as a listing agent, because your marketing is not selling their home. So, it's a problem for Lane Buckingham. Hi, Lane. He's visiting with
Good
us
morning, Lane.
today. For how long it's accurate for, I think 30 days. What do you think?
Accurate for? Again, depends on the market, but I would say if it's more than 30 days, I would want to be looking at what else is listed and sold since. It's always a good idea to look at what has come up. Even if you've just listed your home or your client's home, if somebody else lists undercutting you and then their home sells, that's an additional piece of data. And if 3 more come up and all sell under your price, that's really important data.
Right. So how often you update your clients is important as well. So
Yeah.
we're doing continual market updates weekly, actually, with our clients. And I
Really?
do a deep dive once a month. Yeah.
What do you include in your weekly updates?
I'm not telling you.
Tell the public. Tell Lane.
I'm not giving away my industry secrets. We look at, honestly, we look at the activity on realtor.ca and we can get a report there. And then I also look at how many people have chosen it as a favorite, how many views, how many realtors are looking at it, and how many clients are also looking at it. So that there's 2 different stats that you can get through Matrix about that.
So the other thing you can do, and what's available to my clients, doesn't get sent to everyone because not everyone wants this, but they get their own portal where they can watch and monitor listings that are similar configuration to theirs in the same area generally, or if it's a specialized product, then things that fit the same kind of
Criteria.
story. Yeah. And so they can watch for the listings that come up, and they can actually watch the current listings and what they sell for. Because as we know, when we're doing a market analysis, the actually on-market listings are not representative of value. They're representative of what somebody's asking. They're not representative of what people are agreeing to sell at.
Agreed. We do the same thing. I forgot to mention that. Jen.
From a lender standpoint, an appraisal is usually only good for 30 days, potentially 60 days, because it's based on the current market conditions.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and the comparables, of course, are those that have sold, not those that are currently on the market.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't look, an appraiser cannot look at the actual current listings. They won't even take those, where we do. Because that's
right.
From our perspective, it's where do you slot into the competition? Then there's a strategy to that, but that has less to do with the value and more to do with the strategy of how you place it on market.
We're also looking at the trend. So is and what the time of year is, because if you
Yeah.
do a market analysis in November
December.
and December,
Yeah.
it's going to be quieter than it is in January or February, or even
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
April, May. So
It can be skewed.
Pardon?
I'm sorry. I was saying it can be skewed if you're doing a market analysis in December and you're only looking at the December listings and sales.
Yes.
True. And then also the thing is, when you're doing a market analysis, or when you're pricing a property, you're talking to the seller about their motivation. And what that does is, if they're highly motivated and they want to sell quickly, then you're going to price it lower, or they may ask to price it lower. And
Yep.
that's where the neighbor gets angry at the seller for pricing low.
And their realtor.
And their realtor. Yeah.
Unpopular opinion here. Sorry, go ahead, Jane, and I'll chime in.
Okay. The other thing is it's not the realtor who determines the price. It's negotiated between the seller and the realtor. And this is why finding a realtor with similar values is really important to you, because you want them to represent your property the way you deal with your life. So, if you're looking at being open and honest and disclosing everything, then probably you want an open and honest realtor. You don't want somebody who's maybe got different values regarding disclosure and all of that. We follow rules, but
Yeah,
sometimes people do things differently.
there's, and we all know each other. And so when we get the sense of each other's reputation by dealing with each other and by, picking up through conversations in the industry. So if you think, oh, I want to hire somebody because they're a realtor that I feel can match my morals in a not so moral way, that realtor may do that. But the other realtors in the industry, who most of us are very professional, will see that listing and think, oh. And so you may not actually be served, because the majority of realtors are going to be extra cautious and asking a lot of extra questions when we see certain names or things come up. And again, it's rare, but it happens. I want to knock on to what you were saying about choosing the realtor that matches your values and that represents you and that can be honest with you. I think one of the best services that we provide is, and most important, is giving a very accurate and proper market evaluation. I mean, there's so many other things we do, but realtors will. We know this. Realtors will sometimes over-evaluate a property in order to, quote, get the list, like buy the listing, because money talks. But if you can find a realtor and you're talking to the realtor and they're giving you their absolute best advice, and you can price your property to the market, and it is an art to find the right price, then you're doing really well for yourself. And you're starting off with the most chance of going forward, right? Would you agree? I mean, there's nothing worse than underpricing or overpricing a home or getting the wrong advice.
Well, when you underprice a home, you're going to get a lot of activity, and how you handle that is one thing. If you overprice, you're not going to get a lot of activity, and you can actually hamstring the seller and really ruin their chances at getting a good offer on their property, because the property will get stigmatized because it's for long days on market. So as a listing agent, you just have to be you have to stick to your guns and be fairly strong and negotiate nicely and understand where the price is coming from. And you have to tell the sellers, let's not focus on what the offer price is going to be, the first offer price. Let's focus on what the strategy of the buyer is going to be and where we can get them in the long term. So sometimes sellers, if they overprice the listing, they get a lowball offer, lowball being relative, they may not even want to deal with it. But as a listing agent, I can say you have to really tell people, let's just, this is the first salvo.
Yeah.
We're going to answer. We might have to go back and forth, but we can make it work.
Yeah. You know,
So,
if you're overpriced by $100,000 and you get a quote lowball offer, 50 grand under your asking price,
you're doing
you're doing
well.
really, really well.
Mhm.
But it's really funny because sometimes that does happen. People, lightning does sometimes strike, and the unicorn buyer comes along, and then sellers don't always recognize that. They said, "Let's try the market. Let's go a little high," and you're like, yeah, "I don't agree, but we can do that." And then right off the bat, they get a great offer, and they're like, "Nope," and then they
The
don't
other,
work with it, and they sit and sit.
Yeah.
Jen?
How do you politely say, don't be greedy?
Well, I think, you know,
It's not easy for you guys.
Well,
it's not easy.
we can't really call our clients greedy, and they're just,
No.
hope springs eternal, and people, what's that in endowment effect, I think it's called, where people overvalue what they own,
Mhm.
and
Emotional attachment, I
you've
guess,
got to
right?
emotionally attached to it, and it's really
Yeah.
hard for you to say, look, objectively your home's just not worth that. And
Mhm.
for myself, I've learned over the years, I can tell someone I don't think the market is matching to what you're asking. But if another buyer thinks otherwise, because they've got deep pockets and their mom lives next door and they want to buy that particular home and they're willing to pay, who am I to get in the way of that? And who am I to say
Mhm.
you can't sell your home for 100 grand over what the stats are telling us? Because there is somebody out there, there is a chance that happens, but but the chance is higher that you sit on market for a long time, lower your price over time, or never sell, or eventually sell for less than you could have if you'd initially listed your home where the spark gap between buyer and seller price point was close enough that people would jump that gap.
I found, so I always regret, I had one listing where the sellers were like, we have $1 million view and we're only going to ask 800,000.
Yeah.
And it was a market where probably it was worth 650. And so I said, well, I think it's worth 650, but we can maybe try it, 699. And anyway, it's always one of my regrets because they were holding on so tight that
So it's
when the
699.
lowball offer at 699, a lowball offer came in at 630. They didn't even want to deal with it. And
Right.
I was newer to the market. I didn't know, we should counter it. Probably the first offer is the best offer. I probably could have gotten them up to 650 or something. Guess what it sold for?
630.
590.
590.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Did you guys
and-
counter at all on that one? Because that 630 offer, was it countered at all?
I think it was countered. I don't know. We're going back like almost 20 years.
Okay. Well, okay, so let's talk about this, because I've had clients, we list the home and the first week you get an offer that's well off the asking price. And my clients are like, well, these buyers are out to lunch and I'm not even going to respond. Well, we don't know what those buyers are willing to pay. And oftentimes a realtor working with the buyer's realtor is saying, like, let's see how low these guys are going to go. We're going to do an initial offer low. And if they counter us at anything, whatever they counter us with, you accept because you're willing to pay full price. Because not often, but sometimes the buyers are willing to pay full price, but they come in way off asking. They just want to try. They say, oh, we tried.
Mhm.
Okay. And I've seen it happen over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's where the conversation has to begin. You can't, if somebody does something and oh, it's insulting, I won't even respond to this, I'm so mad. Don't do that. Don't do that, because just respond, even if it's back to full price or nearby.
Yeah. Well, you can respond close to asking and say, when you're ready to get real, come on back to the table. Here's how we came up with this price.
Yeah.
You respond factually, not emotionally. I can tell you, I took over a development once and nothing had been selling. And then as a new listing agent, an offer came in and it was a low ball because it had been on the market a long time, and the developer said, "Oh, just forget about it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's why." So then I'm like, okay, we are going to deal with it and we're going to get them up. And then we ended up getting them all sold. But there was this there was pride of ownership in the development. And so he was stuck on his price, and we got them sold. But this is where the values matter, because you want somebody who's going to represent who you are in front of the buyers and to the buyer's realtor in your best possible way, so that you can justify the price.
Yeah, totally. Values, and also I've always said, it's like there's the McDonald's of real estate, where you've got agents that are doing high volume, but they don't ever get to know their clients, right? Where there's other agents who can take a little more time, get to know their clients, and when they know their clients, they can actually advise their clients. When you're doing a high volume and you don't have good supports, you don't have time to serve your clients, that can be problematic. And I'm not talking like, Jane, you do a good volume, I do a good volume, but we try to balance the amount of time. I'm talking about agents that are doing really screaming high volume, but they don't have systems, or they don't have time.
Or like they're doing 200 transactions a year. We're not there.
Yeah, we're nowhere near that. Going back to the idea of how long is a market analysis good for, one of the things that I will sometimes do is I use the home price index tool that the board has, and I will, there's a price estimator tool. Then you can look at where the market was, let's say in 2015, for a home in a particular area that meets a certain configuration, track that value over time, and then use that to kind of weave in some of the older, if it's a very unique home with not a lot of comparables, I can find a comparable from a couple of years ago and try to track where the values have gone and make some estimates based on that. It's a little bit more convoluted, but when you don't have a lot of data, it's just helpful to add for the conversation with your client.
Yeah, I just did that with a client as well. So although I actually went back and looked at the relative listings at the time when it sold, when this particular seller purchased. So I was, and I was working for the buyer. And what was interesting was right now it's being marketed as having an upgraded kitchen, but I've realized that kitchen was there 10 years ago. So it's a lovely kitchen, but it's not new.
Well, they say upgraded, but upgraded from the original development. Like there's some weaselly words that get put in sometimes, right? So it is really important to look at the past listings, and you can get a lot of data. Like your client says, "Oh, the roof is 15 years old," and that's what they truly believe. And then but you say, "Well, how do you know that?" Well, the prior owners put it in. And you go back and you look up a couple past listings and you see, okay, no, it's actually more like 20 years old.
Yeah.
Or
10. I'm going through this right now. I'm selling a rental property. So it's just so interesting I'm really getting empathy training here to, who you're going to choose as your realtor, and how is it going to be marketed? And, I really want to know the information, what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just learning so much about myself as well as the process. And it's making me more empathetic to what my clients want to hear on the other side of things. It's great practice.
I had that when I sold my home in 2014, and just how nervous and insecure I was around the market and pricing, and exposed. You're exposed because not only is your home open to showings in the public, your colleagues who there's an added layer because your colleagues are coming through going, "Oh, this is Andrew's place," And so, it had a long driveway and a lot of trees around. I was out every day with the, leaf blower blowing off the leaves and getting it all ready. And then, did we price it right? And it's really interesting. Oh, and the amount of work that goes into moving and packing, stress.
So I have some buyers who just put their house on the market, and they said to me, they were like, "Oh my God, like they just requested a showing 2 hours ago. We gotta go. Like I got a showing going on right now. I gotta get it all ready." And they're all
Yeah.
stressed. And I said, "Well, now you know why, as a buyer agent, we tell you try and make the appointment before 8 o'clock the night before, because it
Yeah.
really helps the seller."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, good point. Good point." A little bit of
Well,
empathy.
yeah. And, you know, we
For
can,
sure.
as agents, by the way, folks, we can say, if our clients request it, you know, please give us 6 hours notice or 4 hours notice, or easy to show on short notice, or just page and go, or we need overnight. And it doesn't have to be because it's tenanted. It's just because this is what the sellers need in order to be prepared and comfortable. But from a seller's perspective, from a selling perspective, the more available it is, the better. And the cleaner it is and ready to show, the better. So, you know, have a bug out bag and a plan for those short notice showings. But usually we respect and give a lot of time. But
By bug out bag, he means not take the bugs out. He means a go bag.
a go
to-
bag to bug out when you get a showing request that's short notice. Because I've been there, you've been there. I'm out with clients. They're from out of town. We're showing properties that we've made a list, and then something new comes listed that totally meets their criteria. Or they say, "Hey, that for sale sign there, what's that property there? Oh, that actually looks good. Can we go through today?" And suddenly you're calling the listing agent and asking, "Sorry, I know it's short notice, but we're actually at your doorstep.
Yeah.
Any chance?"
15 minutes?
Yeah. Any chance? And
Okay.
folks, I'd rather show a place I'd rather have my clients leave and the place be shown dirty than not be shown at all, because it could be that you still get that offer, right?
Well, not only that, but often when the sellers relax, I don't know, there's different energy in the house. And then when the sellers relaxed, you often get that's when you get the offer coming in. So yes, don't not take the showing, because you never know.
Exactly.
Okay, let's do the stats here.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to be doing them and Andrew can comment on them. So new listings were at 233 for this week. That's compared to 275. I expect it's going to go down as we move towards the long weekend next week. Pendings were at 143. That's compared to 161 last week. And price decreases were at 96. And that's compared to 124 for last week. And so, and expires are 58 compared to 61. I will say, one of the things that I'm noticing in my head is going to be an aha for me is the price decreases compared to the pendings. We've seen it even out. To me, when that's evening out, that's showing a decrease in the market. And when I'm seeing the price decreases less than the pendings, that says to me the market's picking up a bit.
That's a good observation for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so our ratio for the past 7 days is 61.37%, and that's compared to 58.55 the week before. And net unconditional sales so far this month, we're at 433. For August last year, we were at 559, and projected for this month is 523. And new listings were at 885. That's compared to 1143 for August 2025. And our projected is at 1078. And total active listings were at 3,708. And that is higher than last year, which was at 3,598. So,
Okay.
but it's still pretty good. I'm glad. Yeah.
Mhm.
Any comments,
Yep.
Andrew?
No comments. I like that we've gone down to the 3 stats, just projecting out what, you know, if we continued the current trends. So, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So let's wrap this up. Andrew, how do people reach you?
Yeah, I'm Andrew Plank. I'm with the Vibe Collective, and we are at Royal LePage, Coast Capital Realty. And you can reach me at 250-360-6106. or info@andrewplank.com. And the website, andrewplank.com, for myself and for the team, it's realvibe.ca, realvibe.ca.
Okay. Jen.
I am Jen Lowe, mortgage broker with Dominion Lending Centers Mod Mortgage Group. I can be reached at 250-217-4925. Email is jen@jenlowe.ca, and my website is jenlowe.ca.
All right. And thanks to Jody Christian, who is liking our posts every week. And I'm Jane Johnston. I'm with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun. My number is 250-744-0775. My emails, actually, the best one's briarhillgroup@gmail.com. And you can look at our listings at briarhillgroup.com. And if you want to follow on lifestyle in Victoria, please look at our Instagram at realtyteacher_Remax Victoria or Briar Hill Group. All right, you guys. Well, have a good day. Stay online until we know you have uploaded your stream, and we'll see you next week. We will be doing the stats. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks for joining us on the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show.
We're here weekly, bringing you up-to-date insights on the Greater Victoria real estate market.
Make sure to follow and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you listen to podcasts so you'll never miss an update.
We'll be back next week with more clarity around what's happening and what it means for you.